Hey, Fearless family. I always believe that our tests are our testimonies. And sometimes hearing how people have overcome fear and anxiety and have become faithful followers of Jesus is some of the best ways for us to have revelation. And so, what I'm sharing with you today is a woman by the name of Lauren Jordan, and she has an incredible testimony and so much beauty has come from her obedience and her surrender and her willingness to get up and talk about it. So today, we're giving you a little sneak peek into some incredible moments we had at our Walk With Me retreat as Lauren Jordan gives her testimony. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Lauren Jordan. That is me. Thanks. I attended my first retreat last year, and I was, in Shauna Coyne's words, wholly wrecked. Yeah. So I am here to talk about my journey today. And if you could laugh at all my jokes, that would really be great because I have crowd anxiety with like talking in front of people. So if you could just think I'm really funny, that would really help me a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And when I share this story, and I do so pretty often still, when I share this story with patients or with people that just come into my life and ask me about, like, oh, like, how did you find Jesus? Like, what was your journey? What did that look like? I often start with saying, in my life, I've taken a pregnancy test and it was positive. I have two babies now. But at the time, I had nothing to show for it. Nothing about me physically was different. Oh, this touched me. And I wasn't throwing up yet, although that was coming shortly. But I had nothing different. Like, you couldn't look at me and be like, aha, that is different about you. I had nothing to show for it, right? But that moment in time made everything different. That moment changed the rest of my life. It was a pivotal, like, fulcrum of the path in my journey. And that is what this was for me last year. Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool. Right? Yes. So let me back up and tell you about, I guess, yeah, I'm Lauren. Hi. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I I know. I made them. Yes. That's Jeremy. This is my husband, Dean. That's Jeremy and that's Leah. That's me with my hair done and down. And yeah, they're really cute. Leah just turned 2. Jeremy's gonna be 4 in just a couple weeks. So we're in the thick of it. Yeah, everything's sticky, everything's a little messy. Handprints are everywhere. It's the way I like it. So it's been fun. So let me back up. We're gonna go 30,000 feet on my life for a moment. Growing up until like last year, I would describe myself in my relationship with Jesus as in and out. We were on again, off again. We were kind of dating, but like not. We were talking sometimes. Um, and it wasn't really just my relationship with Jesus. It was my relationship with organized religion in general. It just didn't sit right with me in a lot of phases of my life. So I would, in my then experience, be close to Jesus, aka I would attend church. I'd be around people that were churchy. And then something, right? And then something terrible would happen. And I'm like, no, not for me. Like, that wouldn't have happened because of God, right? So like, he makes all things good. So like, why is that bad? Right? My science brain couldn't comprehend. So I should also mention I'm a I'm a musculoskeletal physician. So I only work in one manner, which is science and fact. So this all like hypothetical, can't touch it, can't see it, that whole nonsense. I was like, nah, not for me. I'm gonna say raised Catholic, but like softly. I was baptized. We attended Catholic church. I wore the dresses and the cute shoes. But that's pretty much the extent of it. I didn't get confirmed or whatever. We had moved around a lot, so that wasn't my path. So, I would find myself, like I said, kind of pursuing Jesus, kind of pursuing Christianity. Catholicism, like, wasn't it for me. I was like, that's really boring, and that's just all I knew at the time, right? It's like, I don't know why I have to sit down and stand up so much. It's weird. I didn't understand. I don't understand. Right? I just don't. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for laughing. Um, and then, like I said, I like, for example, I'd be close, what I thought at the time was close to Jesus. And then my best friend died. And I was like, well, that's tough. Like, that doesn't make any sense if we're close, God, And my brain then, after a series of those kinds of events, connected this and bad. We're not doing that. So then I just went, nah, we're just not going to do any of that any longer. Let's not waste our time. We're science, we're factual. Fast forward to my adult life. I'm now married. I'm a physician license. I have my dream job at the time, which is in Troy, Missouri. Can you believe that? Isn't that funny looking back? Isn't that funny? I know. It was though at the time. I was attending church regularly at a great group of friends. What's up? Yeah, that was you. That was you. We built a house. I was living like the life, right? Like something that I had always dreamed of living as I was driving this black on black car. It was sick and I made this house with my husband. It was awesome. And then I'm pregnant. I'm like, oh my gosh, we didn't even have to try. Like truly, I didn't even know it, but what a blessing. And I was like, wow, this is great. See what happens when I'm not close to Jesus? See, like things just go right. It just happens. It's because of me, because I controlled it, because I'm smart and I like science and because I did this, right? So I would say at that point in time, when I was going to church regularly with my good group of friends, I had a cortical, like I had a high brain um, relationship with God. Like I knew and I understood the readings, and I would go home, and that's pretty much where that ended. I would pray sometimes, but like not seriously, and only because it was a challenge. Like the pastor at the time was like, "You need to do this," and I took that as a challenge. But it wasn't like my emotional connection, right? And also looking back, I had earthly idols that were in place of my relationship with Jesus at the time. So I truly worshiped my boss at the time, which is crazy now. I worshiped myself in my fitness level. I had to be the fittest person in the room. If it wasn't, I'm doing it wrong. That was truly 100% my outlook on life. Lunchtime was not for lunch. It was for working out. You got to get in the gym, like that kind of thing. It was a tough go. Yeah. And then a tragic thing happened with one of my good friends in Missouri. And that was the first time I had ever heard from the Lord was at her child's visitation. And it was to go home. And I was like, LOL, where's home? Like it wasn't clear to me. And I told my husband about it. And so we decided home was Bloomington, where we were both from. And that's where our family was. I'm like, well, that makes sense because I have a baby in me now and we want to raise this baby in your family. So we moved back to Bloomington, Illinois, which I thought I would never do, ever. Great place to have a family. That's about it. Everywhere is a vacation, that kind of place. Um, but they do have good coffee. We love that. So I moved back to Bloomington at 26 weeks pregnant. Had to find a new doctor. Had to do the whole thing, and it was also during COVID. So like things were weird. Like my business being what I do for work is very different when you can't like touch people. That's kind of like the whole job. So it was difficult. And I was suffering now with having a baby at that time with severe intrusive visual thoughts of my child dying all the time. Constant visual. Yeah. And I thought, self, that's probably normal, right? Like that's okay. Because everyone has the baby blues. And I know better. My brain knows better. But at the time I didn't. And I thought, yeah, everyone stops their car 4 times on the way home from work with the baby in the back to make sure baby's alive, right? No, no, that's not true. That is not a normal thing. And I was suffering with anxiety and depression, which I didn't know was depression at the time. And it became just like a slow toilet bowl spiral into, I don't know what, thank goodness. So then I have actually a 13-month-old at the time. And my boss and I at the time in Morton, Illinois, we decided to part ways. So I had to open my own business or I had to not do what I did. So I decided to open my own business because I love a good challenge. And then I found out I'm pregnant again. So things were just really happening all very quickly. Um, yeah, that was a wild time. 13-month baby, opening a practice, pregnant again. What am I doing? Don't know, but we're doing it and we're faking it so well. People have no idea. Not a clue. 1 year postpartum with Leah, that little nuggie there. She I like to explain that period of time as like I lost myself. Like I had no idea who I was. I didn't recognize myself. I didn't know what was important to myself anymore. And it was just like this cyclical, I almost dreaded going to sleep, which I love sleep, so that was weird. But I dreaded going to sleep because I didn't want to like live the next day. Cause I'm like, gosh, it just feels like just a hamster wheel of emotions and steepness and like darkness and intrusive thoughts that I don't even want to see in my head anymore. And it was exhausting. Um, yeah, and that was a sad time. So on February 28th, 2024, I got out. Actually, my son, he was sitting on the couch. My daughter was napping. My son was protesting. And so we were in the living room, and my son picks out a blankie. He has 1,000 blankets, by the way, big blanket guy. And he picks out this striped blanket that my friend Shauna, don't you dare cry at me. Don't you dare. She got my son this sweet little blanket from his baby shower when I lived in Missouri. And I was like, wow, that's a random pull from the bottom of the thing there because it's like a baby blanket, right? Like he wouldn't normally go for that. He's a toddler. So he puts it on him. I'm like, cute. Everything he does is cute. So I took a picture of him and I drafted a text to Shauna and I typed it. I was like, oh my gosh, look at what Jeremy just got. Like, he's so cute. Hope you're well. Deleted it. That's stupid. I'm not going to do that. She's probably busy. That's stupid. No, I'm not going to do that. And then a few minutes go by. I type it again. Same thing. Hope you're doing well. Here's Jeremy's blanket, whatever. Um, and then I finally send it. I'm like, whatever. We haven't texted in a while. I'll just send it. And if you know anything about Shauna Coyne, her eyes are piercing, even through a text message. So when she says things, when she has the audacity to ask how you are when you're not well, yeah, rude is what that is, right? So I was sitting on the floor and my son was just like, I don't know, laying on the couch with this blankie watching probably Blippi at the time. Honestly, bless Blippi. Um, and so I was like, you know what, Shauna? All right, you asked for it. Like, buckle up, sister. I'm going to tell you how it is. And so this is exactly what I typed to her. Marriage is hard. Kids are hard. Life is hard. Work is hard. I just don't feel right in this life right now. Yeah. And that was me like playing it cool, right? Like, I don't feel right, but like, that's the text. And like, we're fine though. Yeah. And so Shauna pretty much just forced me lovingly. She was like, have you heard about this retreat? I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You and Jenny and Kyler, if you know them, the other friends in the friend group, right? I was like, yeah, everybody's been telling me to come to this retreat, Shauna. Okay, I understand. Like, it's this weekend. Homegirl can't drive that far by herself with 2 babies at home. Ain't no way. Not going to happen. And she's like, no, I don't think you understand. Like, you're coming. You're coming to this. Get it together. Yeah. And then she and Christy blessed me with a scholarship to come last year, else I definitely would not have been. And then I texted Shauna, and I will say it without crying. I think this is the first time in my life that I feel like the sheep that he was chasing and not just the 99. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that is so cool. Like to be a chosen person to go to this retreat and experience, like, I don't know, friends is what I thought. I'm like, I'll just get some friends. Like, that's cool. See Shauna, hang out. We love a weekend. Um, and it was gonna be so much more. And I had no idea. So here we're coming. I'm on my way alone to the retreat. Here I am, right? I'm driving the entire time. I'm just fighting the enemy. I didn't know at the time that I was, but in my head, I'm like, just turn around. This is stupid. Like this, you just need to be home with your babies. Just go home. He should not just be alone. Your husband should not be alone with your kids right now. Just on and on and on. Can you even afford to lose a weekend of doing chart notes? No is the answer, but I still do it. Um, and so I felt the words, you're not Christian enough. And that was something that really stuck with me. I'm like, you're right. Like, I'm an imposter. I know nothing. All I have is cortical brain right here. Like, I only know about Jesus. I don't know him. So I got nothing. I have nothing to provide to this retreat. Hope it's fun. I don't know. I'm scared. And I wanted to turn around the whole time. And I remember crying almost the entire way. I stopped and stayed the night at a friend's house, and they really pushed me to come to Jenny and Kenny, if you know them, which makes sense. Very on brand for them to tell me to come. It was fun. And then Christy was the first speaker that weekend, and she talked. I don't even remember your topic, actually, but it was great. It was your intro. And then you said something so sciency, and it just came out of left field. And I don't even remember what it was. It was a stat. And I was sitting right over there, and I was like, oh, yeah, no, I'm back. Like, that was like, that was it. A stat? You mean science? I'm here. I'm here for it. Yeah, that was awesome. And so later, Chrissy actually shared with me that she felt called to say something like that in that moment. She's like, yeah, I knew, like, I felt like someone in the crowd needed to hear something sciency to get them bought back in. And I was like, oh, homegirl, that was me, 100%. Yeah, that was me. So then we break out into small groups, and Christy is my small group leader. And we had these little wooden crosses, and we did this activity of like, you need to write like your goal for the retreat. And the options were Jesus save me, God's plans, good father, and trials are a joy. So me being the brain that I am, I was like, well, I would have to be saved first to do anything else on that list. So I'll write that. That's my goal. There we go. Check. And then we ended night one in tears, Shauna and I, after we shared lovingly how much we missed each other and how much I want to move back to Missouri. But I wrote this after that night so that I wouldn't forget that conversation. So Shauna shared with me that she was in a small group with my two other close friends from Missouri. I didn't know this until the retreat. And they did this like Bible study plan thing together. And they all unknowingly in this journal wrote my name in this specific entry. And then they all got together and were like, whoa, that's crazy. And then I came to the retreat that felt like the next, I don't know how soon it was after that. But yeah. So then she tells me this and I'm like, well, that's bananas. So then I wrote this that night so I wouldn't forget about it. And I'm really glad that I did. They prayed for me to come here. They were all circling me in prayer. They feel guilty for not loving me the way they think they should have been, and I'm afraid to find a community in Bloomington that replaces them. Jenny, Kyler, and Shauna all did a Bible study and they prayed for me separately. Shauna asked God for a way to get me here, and he said to stay quiet, which I'll pause there. If you know Shauna, that's not really her go-to, right? So like we love when you that's awesome. And then Kyler, I don't know if you guys have Marco Polo, but that's the means of communication with like a lot of my people in my world right now, because like kids. And Kyler got a Marco Polo notification about reaching out to me also that same week that I was coming to the retreat. And I texted Shauna a picture 24 hours after she asked God for a way to get me here. He wants me here. He is pursuing me, and he left the 99. Yeah, right? I know. So yeah, we're all just like sobbing at the end of night one. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, that was lovely. I'm glad to have some like, closure where that's concerned. I love my friends here and I can have friends in Bloomington. Bless. Okay, buckle up. I didn't even know what was going to happen day two. So day two, we start with some still time, and I had never opened the Bible that I had at that time, and I'm like, this is a good time to open that. So I opened it, and I didn't know where to start reading it. But I remember someone telling me like Matthew was good, so I started reading in Matthew, and I read Matthew 1 through 3, and I read about Jesus's baptism, and I'm like, oh, like I knew again, high brain, I knew he was baptized. Didn't know all the like nitty gritties, but that's pretty cool. A good read if you haven't read that. And then Kyler, I believe it was after lunch, but she came up and she was talking. Her talk was called "Obedience in the Overwhelm." Really resonated with me. I really loved her talk a lot. And then she was talking at the end about her daughter Clara and how she was doing Clara's hair one day, and Clara looked in the mirror and she was like, "Can you tell me about Jesus's baptism?" And then Kyler tells Matthew 1 through 3 out loud to the crowd. I'm like, okay, that's a strange coincidence. That's very interesting. Out of all the things you could have just said, and like all the other people also said the things about Jesus's baptism too. So like, why didn't you name one of those, right? Um, and so then Christy comes up, and then she was talking about baptism and how she was going to baptize Kyler right then. So we're all going out to the hot tub, and she's like, if anyone else feels called, you're welcome. Like, you're welcome to come. It's going to be lovely. And I have never in my life experienced a spiritual shove before before that day. I was literally shoved in. I heard and felt, and I don't really know how else to explain it. I still think it sounds crazy, but I heard go. And it was like the most strong, aggressive, loving go of my lifetime. And I didn't have shorts. So like I really felt like I really was trying to get out of it. I'm like, I don't even have clothes. Like I don't have the clothes for this. So I wore leggings and we just made it work. I had to buy a t-shirt. It was wild. It was wild. So I go outside. I told no one so I could back out. I told no one. And I go out there. I'm shaking, kind of like now. And I'm standing on the edge. Kyler gets baptized. Another gal gets baptized. It's beautiful. Everyone's clapping and crying, and it's awesome. And then I step forward, and I don't know if it was Christy or Kyler because I think I blacked out by then. But someone said, "Are you getting in?" And I was like, "Yeah, is that going?" Yeah. And so Christy and Kyler then baptized me here in the hotel. So I like to pay close attention. So that's the moment when I was like, "Yes, it's okay," because yeah, just wrecked. Yeah, it was a real time. It was a real time. And yeah, like Christy and Kyler, yeah, they baptized me. Like they put me under the water. They brought me back up. But my father chased me and sought after me and fought for me. And that is something I had never experienced in my life. It was awesome. Woo! So, yeah, get that good stuff. Look at that. Right? So, I know. So good. Mm. That's what my hair normally looks like, in case you're wondering. My current life. So now, what does that look like, Lauren? Like, sweet, you're baptized, but like, now what? My current life, I went home. Like I said, like when you take a pregnancy test, everything's different, right? So like, I was born again. Everything's different. I'm new. I'm a baby. I don't know what to do with my life. I know nothing. Suddenly, everything I knew was not anything that I knew, right? I had to relearn a lot of things. I went home and my husband was like, "You're different." I'm like, I know. I know. And I tried to get him into moving back to Missouri. It was no go. Not yet. But it wasn't, I was like, I'm changed and we could move. I don't know. I'm just like, um, and he's like, I'm out. Yeah. Um, so then I have this burning true fire, flame, desire, hunger, thirst, whatever you want to call it, to learn everything. And that's how my brain is. I want to learn everything there is to know. I want to read all the literature. I want to read all of the books. And yeah, it was not a slow burn for me. It was a catastrophic burn. Like, let's go. So I text my friend Jay over here because I know that she attends my church because she was a patient of mine, now a friend, so I can say that, right? And yeah, it's fine. Sue me. And I knew she went to the church that I was attending regularly with my husband and family. And I texted her, I'm like, small group, you want to? Are you in? Like, I'm tired of waiting for someone to come to me for a small group. So, like, I'm going to do it now. Are you in? And she was like, oh, absolutely. I texted her in the shower. Like, I was waiting. No time was wasted. And she's like, absolutely, yes. I'm like, yeah, I knew it. I'm shower. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I'm obsessed with that. Oh, that's funny. And then since the retreat, I know I've talked to you about this, but I've had it on my heart to speak here since I left. Like since I left that threshold, I was like, oh, that's what I want. Like I want to do that. I want to tell everybody about everything. Even though I know nothing, like I want to tell them everything. And then for some reason, Christy and Shauna were like, do you want to be and walk with me and lead people and be a disciple? I'm like, yes. How? Yes, I do want to do that. So we started a walk with me group. We have 13 in our group. Megan's another one. She's in my walk with me group too. And we have 13 of them, and it's really fun. We meet up every week, and then we do the virtual stuff out of because we're in Illinois. So that's really fun. And my work changed. I think I was, like, oh, you want to talk about a pup's rash because you're pregnant. Okay, let's learn everything there is about that. But now it's like, oh, let's actually talk about Jesus for a minute. You want to? You in? Yeah. So that's really fun. I like that. And it makes my work a lot more meaningful. Yeah, girl. Yes. Yes. In Missouri. Oh, I'm not licensed in Missouri anymore. I let that lapse. Yeah. Yeah. I let that expire. It's not hard to get it though. It's fine. I can. I'm willing. All right, listen. And I also yes, I get to talk about Jesus with my patients in my work life, but I also see God in things all the time. Now that I've been like awakened to it, it is so fascinating to me how I hadn't ever seen it before. It was just in my face my whole life. and I was blind. It was fascinating. And I'm reading a book. Everyone should read it. It's so good. It's called God Speaks Science. It's a fantastic read. If you're science brained at all, highly, highly recommend. And one of the quotes in the book is God's physiological words echo God's biblical words. And I was like, snap, that's that good stuff. Yep. Yep. So that's what it looks like for me now. And so I would say like my next steps for all of you, because like that's my whole point is nothing, I'm not special, right? Like nothing about me is different. I drove from Illinois to here. I sat over there. Like it's, I'm not different. I'm not unique in the fact that I had this experience last year, but I was open to it and I was ready for it. And when I saw it, I was like, absolutely. Right. So my next steps, I would say if you don't have a Bible, that would be good to start one, to get one. I didn't know what kind. I didn't like the one that I had last year, turns out. So I got the one that they recommend. I don't even remember what it's called, but it's this guy, the big thick one. This guy. I like her a lot. And I have my Bible on my phone too, like the Bible app. I use that all the time. Some Bible plans in that app. I love the Bible Explained, Easter Jesus and the Resurrection, the Joys of Heaven, and I read the New Testament through the Bible recap. Chef's kiss, so good. And then I was telling my group this too, but I think something that's helped me on my journey a lot is I look at it like daily reps. So for me, I may not pick up my big thicky Bible like every day. That's just not something that's in my daily life right now because I have two little tiny humans that depend on me for everything. Um, but I do think a non-negotiable for me is talking with God. It's like in my car, out loud. I'll pray over my kids' bedrooms after I vacuum them Mondays and like, change their sheets, whatever. And I pray over the room. I'll pray over my son before he goes into school every day, like that kind of thing. That's the non-negotiable for me. So I remember feeling like I left here and like, okay, Bible plan. We're reading the Bible every day. We're going to spend 45 minutes in the word and then we're going to pray for 15 minutes. And I just was very regimented. And that just was not a sustainable thing for me. It was great, but it wasn't sustainable. Right. So like I said, my non-negotiable is prayer and talking with the Lord. Something Christy said earlier when I was running her through my anxious notes earlier, my second draft out of 4. Was the Philippians 2:12, and it says continue to work out your salvation. And I think that's exactly what we need to look at it as. It's like if this is a challenge, if this is a workout, like what is 1% every day that we could get better? And 1% would be let's talk to God. Yeah. My goal for all of you and my goal for myself out of this last year after being saved and after finding Jesus and like opening my eyes for the first time, I wanted the intimate relationship with Jesus. Like, what is that like? Like, what do you mean? I remember in college, there was this gal and she would pray and just be like, hey, dad. I'm like, that is just so foreign to me. And it just felt like, what are you saying? Like, it was bizarre, but I want that. And I still like am craving it. Right. So I'm trying to attack it. And I hope that you all feel that too. So my advice to get the most out of the weekend for all of you, if you resonated or laughed at any of my jokes. Hey, thank you. Thanks. It's a leg prop, isn't it? Thank you. Thank you. I know what I'm doing up here. Is in Exodus 14:13 through 14. And it says, just stand still and watch the Lord rescue you today. The Lord himself will fight for you. And that is 1000% true. And he already has, because you're here. Yeah. Yeah. So I would also like to get wildly out of my comfort zone right now. And I would like to pray over all of you. Is that okay? It's okay. Yeah, then it's hot tub time, I promise. Yeah. Okay. No, okay, I'm sorry. You oh, it's okay. Everything's fine. Okay. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for this opportunity to share my story, to share my testimony with these wonderful women in this room. Thank you for bringing me to the light last year so that I can help others see a light at all. I pray Lord, that you move in this room, that you move in my sisters in this room. And I pray that these sisters lean in. We know, Lord, that if we feel the Holy Spirit and if we listen and if we follow the Holy Spirit, we can't look the same. We need to shed, we need to grow, we need to evolve. And I pray that that happens this weekend for all of us. We know that we are loved by you where we are currently, but we also know, Lord, that you love us too much to keep us here. We want you to work in this room. We're ready for it. Those of us that might feel closed off, I hope you feel an openness. I pray that there's a fire starting in every single one of you. And I hope every one of you this weekend, if you allow it, I hope that this weekend, this place, and all these people in this room can fan the flame inside of you. Thank you for your peace, Jesus. Thank you for your leadership. And thank you for this weekend. It's in your name we pray. Amen.